Hey everybody, this is Vicki Aubin, the Rockin Career Coach, and we are live on July 20th, 2016. This is our Power Lunch series. This is what I'm calling it. Actually, it's Careers Reinvented, and this is a live streaming video series in which I interview career transition rock stars, people who have successfully reinvented themselves in new careers. We all know how scary and overwhelming and confusing it can be when you're considering a career change, right? Especially putting it into action. So I created this series to help all of you out there in the same boat to see that it is possible and to actually get amazing inside information and strategies from people who have actually already done it successfully. Before we get started, I just want to say a little bit something about myself, and then I'll introduce my very special guest, Nirmiti. I'm Vicki Aubin, the Rockin Career Coach. I'm a personal branding and career transition consultant, and I help career revolutionaries unleash their inner rock star and reinvent themselves. And I'm very excited to have our special guest with us today, Nirmiti. Welcome, Nirmiti.
Hi, Vicki. Nice to be on your show. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to have you here. You're calling in from Chicago today, correct?
I am.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, fantastic. Chicago's a fun city. I've only been there a few times, but it's great. Fantastic. So wonderful. So we're here to talk about career reinvention. And for everybody who's joining or just about to join, grab your lunch, grab a drink, go into a quiet corner and join us and listen in. And also too, we have a live chat box for those of you who have a question or a comment, anything you'd like to say, a question you want to ask as we're going along, type it in there and we'll be glad to answer it. So Nirmiti, I would love for our viewers today and listeners to get to know you a little bit. Can you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and what should people know about Nirmiti?
So hi everybody, and thanks first of all, Vicki. I think this is a great platform that you're offering people who are thinking of making a career transition or wanting to re-enter the workforce and reinvent themselves. The kind of resources, these are the kind of resources that people should tap into. I know that I tapped into a lot of similar resources, which really helped me. And sticking to the topic and introducing myself, I'd say that I had an academic background in financial accounting, but in terms of career, I started out as a guest coordinator for a primetime national television daily chat show, and later went on to work as a business development associate in the pharma industry. After which I took a break from the professional world for a good amount of time, and also moved from India, which is where I had my, accounting degree and prior work experience, and made a move to the United States and also took a break from the professional world. So when I decided to re-enter the professional world, it was deciding what is it that I really want to stick to in the long haul, doing the right level of research, making sure that I have the right resources to help me in that journey to make that transition or re-enter, if you will. And so that's really my background. And currently I am in the public accounting space, more specifically within financial advisory services. And I started out with taking help from people in New York and finally decided to make Chicago home, also because I have family here. And so, currently I'm in public accounting space. So you can see the transition and the movement that I've made there.
Yes, and you've made some very interesting transitions throughout your career, working in different sectors, working in different functional roles, which is great, which shows that it's possible. Like, you can do it. You can actually do it.
I can definitely vouch for that. If I could do it, anybody can. It's just a matter of putting your head to it and, being perseverant, just persistently keep doing what you need to till you get there. And there are going to be those moments when you feel that, can I do it? Can I not do it? The moments of frustration and self-doubt, but I can assure you that everybody can do it.
Awesome. Awesome. Great. And I want to let people know too. So we actually work together to help you reinvent yourself. So when I say that Nirmiti was successful, I mean she was successful. I experienced it. We went through it together. So she's a rock star in my book, and that's why she's here today to share her experience. So awesome. So Nirmiti, I would kind of love to start things off here today and help people understand a little bit about kind of like, you know, where your mindset was at the time, where you were coming from. So specifically, you know, how did you know that it was time for your reinvention per se? How do you know it was time? Like, now is the time. I need to do this. I need to find a way to make this happen.
Well, so in my case, Vicki, you know, I think I had made a conscious decision to take a break from the professional world. And for me, when I decided that I wanted to re-enter, I had taken like the break. I kind of knew that, you know, I now wanted to get back. So that was a decision which kind of happened, you know, it's like it did happen over a period of time. And to be very honest, it was more situational and demanded more by circumstances. But once I had gotten to that point where I knew that I wanted to re-enter the professional world, the more amount of time and thought process, my energy was more driven by the fact that I needed to then decide what is it that I need to focus on, how do I get back on track, what is it that is my academic base, do I want to build up on that, what is it that I brought to the table in terms of my professional experience, in terms of my past career choices, and how I can marry all these together and move forward from there, you know. So I think a lot of thought and a lot of interaction with people who were knowledgeable about, who were already either in the industry or in the workforce or in some way more experienced than I was, and had the right tools or resources to guide me in the right direction. Because when a person has been out of the professional world for a while, it can be very intimidating, you know, at times to feel to constantly question yourself whether you can do it, whether you have the right elements, or whether you are prepared enough, and whether you're not setting up yourself for failure. So you have all those inhibitions and questions. I had them for sure. So I would imagine others like me probably would as well. And but you just you know, need to make sure that you are connecting with the right people and using the resources, leveraging them well in a manner that you can then in a cohesive manner connect the dots and move forward in a direction that you need to get to the goal that you have set for yourself.
Awesome. That was really powerful. And yeah, and actually kind of like, you know, your personal experience, like you said, you had been out of the workforce and now it was time to re-enter the workforce. And that can feel very overwhelming. And I even hear it from a lot of people who are perhaps just haven't looked for a job in a long time. That can be intimidating. They've been doing one thing for a long time, or what have you. And yes, and like in your situation, you know, having been out of the workforce and then getting back in, it can, you're kind of like, where do I start? You know, where do I go? And how should I be presenting myself, right?
Exactly.
In what direction should you be going in? So it can be very overwhelming and frustrating. It doesn't have to be, but it's natural. And like you said, it was all about like reaching out and talking to people and getting the resources that you need. And I think that's one of the first things is, you know, don't stay alone. Don't isolate yourself. But awesome. So I want to ask you, so along with that, so knowing that it was time for you to make this big leap, to make, you know, to reinvent your career per se and make that big change in your life, what would you say was the biggest surprise or challenge that you encountered along the way during that time in which you were pursuing that change?
Oh, I would say in terms of surprises, so as I spoke about my diverse work experience, you know, having an academic background in financial accounting, but then making career choices which had nothing to do with accounting, but, you know, really experimenting because I was, you know, I really wanted to figure out what's out there in the world, try different things, experiment with them before I actually committed myself to a career in the long haul. So I was very, one of the things that intimidated me the most was the fact that, you know, I might be questioned about the fact that I had an academic background in accounting, but then went on to work in the entertainment industry and then in the pharma industry as a business development associate. Nothing closely aligned to accounting. But to my surprise, when I went out into the professional world, met with recruiters, met with headhunters, hiring managers, or people who are already in the professional world who constantly hire on an ongoing basis, I was very surprised to find that how positive they were about my background, and they thought that it was such a great resume, if you will, on paper, to see that somebody brought something so diverse to the table, that somebody had the passion or the desire or the experience just in life to have experienced different things in the professional setup. And I was really surprised by the fact that people kind of, at times we question our own selves that, does my resume align well with what I really want to pursue? And, but you would be surprised that, in each and every role or whatever it is that your experience and background is, you do bring a lot to the table. It's just a matter of realizing, and that's where a person like you, my coach in the careers front, and also I had mentors and my family who all helped me to kind of bring that to the fore, that, this is what you bring to the table. But you were all my allies, right? So it was not until I actually went out and met with hiring managers or recruiters that I actually started believing that oh, that's actually true, So at times we question that. So that was the thing that surprised me the most. To answer your other question about challenge, what is it that challenged me the most? I think the sense of self-doubt, because as I said, that if you've not been in the professional world for a while, a lot of these things intimidate you because you've not been in the professional world. You don't have that level of interaction with the corporate world. In my case, it was also intensified by the fact that I had not gone to a full-blown undergrad or graduate level program here in the United States, which kind of prepares you for the corporate world, So I did not have that level of training. So there was this constant sense of self-doubt, That was my biggest challenge, even though there were people around me who were well-wishers, who were supporters, and who wanted to help me and were, partnering with me in my goal to reach where I wanted to. I think I had this biggest level of self-doubt in my own self, which was a challenge for me to overcome in my journey. So yeah, I would say that in terms of challenge, self-doubt. And I could imagine that, the state of mind that a person is in, either when they're trying to reinvent themselves or make a career transition, it would be kind of a stressful mindset, either because you're not happy in the job that you're currently in, or you want to get towards something and that you don't know how to. So the mental frustration or stress that you have could cause a lot of anxiety. And so I could imagine that it's not just probably me who has that level of self-doubt. A lot of people would. But I want to give out a message to everybody who's probably listening to this, that, listen to the people who are giving you the advice, believe them, take their advice at face value, and don't then question yourself. If 2 or 3 set of people are echoing the same things, positives about you, then believe in it. And, just every time you find yourself questioning, that you're questioning your own self, just say, stop, I'm not going to let you do this to myself. And I am going to believe what others out there are telling me, because they are constantly echoing the same thing. So.
Awesome. That was great. That was really, really, really great. And I love how you captured both the surprise that, hey, actually, I do have a lot to bring despite my background. I hear a lot of people say that, oh, well, I did this in the past. Isn't that going to be a disadvantage to me? And I'm sure that's something that you kind of thought too, how you had been, you're professionally, you had been working across a couple different areas, and that were actually not in your major as well, like you said. So that was a concern of yours. That's something you probably know people who kind of express the same things to you, but it's very common for people to say, oh, well, won't it be a disadvantage for them to see that I've done these different things? And no, actually, it can be a huge strength for you. Like you came to realize
Right, because you have to realize that, people who are already in whatever industry it is that you're working in, and whatever is the major, that is the technical skill set that's needed for that area. So yeah, there are already a whole bunch of people that are there, So there is a very small pool of people who then are able to bring in, apart from the technical skill, other skills that are also needed,
Right.
So so you just have to narrow it down, that what is it that from your past experience is something that is transferable skill, that is going to be useful across the board, and that can help any kind of work or team that you plan to join or envision yourself to be a part of, what you can bring to the table to make it a win-win situation for, both parties involved. So it's just a matter of either, if you're able to do that on your own, great. Many times I think it's difficult because you don't have that level of exposure to the other field, and that's where professionals like Vicki, and if you have any mentors who are, who have years of experience and can see things from a broader perspective, kind of can partner with you to help you see that what is it that you kind of bring to the table that others probably would really have high regard for.
Right, but said very beautifully. Excellent. So great. So what I really want to know is, so based on all of this, the challenges, the surprises you were seeing, what was kind of the top thing you feel what was it that really enabled you to take the steps to be successful and actually make re-entering the workforce a reality for you? What were kind of the top things that really enabled you to do that? Was it an approach? Was it a mindset? Was it a strategy, certain action you took? What would you say?
I would say definitely having the right level of support system. As you mentioned, strategy and structure. I think if I could just stick to these three things, and I'll probably go and explain each of them in order. Having the right level of support, because either if a person is making a career transition or re-entering the workforce, as in my case, you need to have the right level of support, because things like that do not always instantly lead into results, instantaneously. And that there has to be a lot that needs to be put in before you can actually start seeing results. And that process can feel very intimidating and full of a lot of, very frustrating if you don't have the right level of support system. So you definitely want to surround yourself with people who believe in you, believe in you more than you believe in your own self. And that could be at times your closest friends and family. You also want to maybe partner with people, as I said, who have a very broad perspective about life in general, who can see failure for what it is, and who can see struggles for what they are, who understand that, it's just a roadblock, and once you cross that, you will be back on track. So somebody like that, and that could be again your parents or somebody else that you have, the good fortune of knowing, and has years of experience, either both in the professional world and just of life in general. And then again, people like, again, Vicki, I would say, who was my career coach and who helped me believe in myself at times when I felt very dejected if I, didn't meet a certain goal that I had set up for myself, and I felt very dejected. I kind of got that extra boost of energy from outside, because that's very important, that you will hit those roadblocks. And then there are people who've seen you work hard, who've seen you, deliver, but at times you will not be able to deliver, maybe, on what you need to. And that's when the support system comes in very handy to kind of bring you back on track, to echo the words that you need to hear at that point in time, to re-energize you, and then get you moving all over again,
Awesome. I like to call it your entourage. I think everybody should have an entourage.
Sure, if you call it that, that's great. I just thought, support seemed like a simple word, but yeah, entourage would be maybe more appropriate. So sure. And then talking about strategy, I had a strategy, so the way I worked about it was, where is it that I want to get? and what is it that I need to get there, So in my case, once I decided that I wanted to stick to my academic base, which was financial accounting, and build up on that and enter the workforce in the public accounting space, I spoke to people who were knowledgeable about that area and decided to go ahead and pursue a certification. In my case, that was a CPA. In many of the other people's cases, they might not really need to do a certificate program or any such thing. But whatever it is, you just want to know that what is it that is needed for you to get to where you want to, and then work backwards. So in my case, I definitely try to figure out, okay, public accounting. For that, I need to make sure that I have the right credentials. In my case, that was the CPA. So I started working towards that. And then, putting myself out there to start preparing the resume, making sure that what are my transferable skills, how do I highlight that. A lot of time was spent on working on the resume, because at times we have done a lot in our lives, but we don't realize the true value of it until we start putting that down on paper. And then you definitely want to translate it into measurable units, because what is your achievement is very well known to you because you work through it, but the person who is trying to hire you has very little time. So you want to make it an easy job for them. So highlight all the keywords, and more in terms of whatever your achievements are, if you can convert that into measurable terms, which makes it easy for people to make a comparison if they were to, select between 2 or 3 different candidates, narrow it down, or even to just zoom in on you. It makes it a lot easier if you focus and highlight all your strengths, which makes it, So all of that, working on the resume, making sure that you have the right strategy, working backwards, and having a game plan. And the last thing is structure. I would say that when you so resume is step 1. To even get yourself out there, to market yourself to the right pool of people, you do need to have the right resume. But after that, once you are in front of those people, you do want to have a structure to every thing that you want to communicate about yourself, because time is of essence. So you definitely want to structure each of your stories, which kind of highlight what you bring to the table in a very structured manner, so that you're not just rambling and going on talking about yourself, because you would be very passionate about all your accomplishments, but you do want to get the message across in a timely fashion. So I think I definitely learned to work with structures, and it could be different structures. You just have to figure out what that structure is, a framework or a structure, whatever you want to call it. Those are the 3 things: strategy, structure, and support.
Support. The 3 S's.
Yep, I didn't think of that, but
Awesome. And I love everything you said, especially the part about structure, especially in how you're presenting yourself, how you're communicating in interviews, especially, right? Is the message you're conveying out there, it needs to be cohesive and consistent, right? But it has to be concise too, like you said. And one of the biggest aha moments out there, I think, for job seekers, career transitioners especially, to get is that when you're in front of a potential employer or recruiter, they're not just assessing you on, do you have the technical skills like we talked about, but are you an effective communicator? Are you somebody who can collaborate and communicate effectively with other people who you would be working with in this role? Is it going to be a client-facing role? If so, they have to feel confident that they can put you in front of their clients, whether internal or external, whatever, too. So, I love it. Thank you for hitting on that as well. Great. So I want to ask you next, having successfully reinvented yourself, gone back into the workforce, how has this experience impacted your life present day? What difference has it made?
I feel very empowered, I mean, when I started out on this journey, I did not think that, I could possibly reach this day, place and time where I feel, that I have accomplished the goals that I set out for myself. And if I may, I probably have exceeded those goals. I do not think that it's possible. I But so today, having reinvented myself, or just re-entering the workforce and doing everything that it takes, step by step. It seemed a lot when I started out. It seemed like, oh my God, when will I ever get to it? And that can feel very intimidating. It can just scare you. It might sometimes, if it's winter especially, it might not even let you get out of your comforter. Just the thought, like, how will I ever get that far, So I have been through all those days, but then you just have to keep doing, one step at a time. Set small goals for yourself, very, very small, achievable goals. In my case, I probably would even go to the extent of saying that I would literally set a goal for my daily goals for myself. Just if I can get, if I can get through this day, fine, I am good, I am an achiever, I am successful. So one day at a time, and then gradually you just build on that confidence that, oh yeah, you can do this, you are seeing some results, even if they might not be tangible. Every time you'll see some very intangible, some very results which might not, you can't even measure them, but you'll feel that if you're putting the right level of effort and right level of work that needs to go in, you'll then start feeling that level of confidence that will then energize you, and then it has a ripple effect, So definitely, I would say that I feel very empowered today that I was able to make that journey, which I at one time didn't believe. There was constant doubt that it may happen, it may not happen. A lot of my worst fears would constantly dominate me. So I feel good, I just feel that it's a matter of putting in the effort, believing in yourself, you will have bad days, you will have self-doubt, you will have those days of rejection, but it's just a matter of then getting up again and putting your head to where it needs, what you want to do. So, and just sticking to it, making sure one step at a time.
Awesome. And now that you kind of have this understanding, you can apply that to your everyday life now in your career, right? Real life, present day.
Yeah. So the biggest takeaway, Vicki, would be that, I know now that nothing is not achievable. Everything is achievable. You just have to. So it's given me that level of confidence in myself that there is nothing in life that you cannot do. You just have to have the right elements, and it could be different for different people and different circumstances. The level of effort, the amount of input could vary. But I think I'm convinced internally in my heart, and I mean, I'm not saying that you can do anything but anything which is realistically achievable, given a person's background and circumstances. It might seem difficult, but I know that I can do it. Anything that is realistically possible, I can do it, given the right amount of effort, time, and persistence. At times persistence is one thing that might fall short, because people just might give up sooner than later. But if you are persistent, I think you will get to it. It could take longer for some of us, but eventually we will get there. It's just a matter of sticking to your goals and doing the right level of effort.
Awesome. That's super empowering. And that's why you're a rock star to me, because you went through this journey, you went through these challenges and this experience, and now you're like, hey, I actually can really do anything. It takes persistence and dedication and effort, but I can. And that's really amazing, because this has a huge trickle down effect on your life in general now and how you approach things, right?
Definitely. And I think I'm very fortunate that I had the right level of support. I was connected, like in your case, I was connected to you through a very good friend of mine. And so just having that network of people who you might not always know the right set of people, so just reaching out to people, seeking help, being honest about where is it that you are at with people that you can be honest with, and making that communication so that you can then get connected to the kind of support that you need. I think it's very important. It can't be a one person's journey, all the effort is yours.
Right.
You do need the right level of support. And sometimes I think talking about a career coach, because you are a professional career coach, it can be people might think that, oh, do I want to invest that kind of money in a career coach? But trust me, it's an investment that will far outweigh the cost. I mean, it's an investment that you are making, and the support that you get, you will reap the benefits of it, and it will never seem like a cost to you looking back. But you have to make that decision that it's an investment. Don't think of it as a cost. Think of it as an investment that will, yield rich dividends, if you will.
That was very powerful. Thank you for sharing that. And you're right. It really is realizing, hey, it's time for me to invest in myself.
Yes.
Right. We invest in so many other things in our lives. Some which reap long-term, but some short-term temporary benefits. So yes. So awesome. So that was fantastic. So aside from what we talked about, especially we were talking about support, strategy, and structure, any other, like, would you say, is there any other, like, one superstar, like rockstar, game-changing strategy for other people who want to reinvent themselves? Is there anything else you feel like we haven't hit that you just, one thing, if you could leave our audience with any, message today to help them move forward?
Sure. I think I would say two things. Preparation is definitely key. You want to prepare yourself in a manner that you're not setting yourself up for failure. So, put in the right level of efforts and prepare yourself well at every step, every step of the way you need to put in the right level of preparation in, so that you're constantly feeling energized to move forward. So preparation is definitely key. Attitude, having the right attitude,
Yeah.
I think for me that played a key role, that I always tried to make sure that, even if I'm having bad days, I'm not having a bad attitude about it. I constantly wanted to make sure that keeping my attitude in check. So I would say preparation, attitude, and if I may add, persistence. Again, cannot emphasize the importance of persistence. You just want to be persistent. So I would say these three things.
Awesome. And I especially, all those are great. The attitude is like 1,000%, because if you don't believe you can do it, if you're saying, oh, this is not possible, guess what? It's not going to be possible. And I love what you said about persistence too. I think these days we want things right away. We're so used to things happening right away.
World of instant gratification.
But that's not realistic in all parts of life. And it's important for people to realize that, especially when they're, even if it's just like any big goal or life change of any kind, right? You have to be persistent. It's not going to happen overnight. You have to be patient. I think that goes in hand with persistence. But yes, persistence for sure. You got to persist. You got to believe in it. You got to want it, and just keep working towards it. Absolutely. I think that's a great message. Awesome. So, so this has been really fantastic chatting with you. So I think we're about done with our power lunch half hour here. So I think we're going to be ready to about close the call, actually, unless anybody has any questions. And if you do, you can type them in the box to the lower right-hand side here. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Otherwise, I think that what you shared today was, I loved how you, thank you for sharing your personal story. Thank you for sharing the challenges and the self-doubt, like you said, that you went through. And I really loved how you gave our audience some really very specific strategies and approaches to approaching, some of these common challenges that people come up against when they're, trying to make a big, transition, a big career transition of any kind. So I think everything you shared today was like right on target. I love the fact it was detailed. You gave people specific strategies and tips for it. And I love how you hit on things from, you don't want to do it alone. You want to have the right mindset, and you need to like have that structure and persistence, which I think was great. And all these things, as you know, because you were successful, as long as you have all those things kind of working in tandem with each other, that's when you're going to see the success. That's when you're going to see the momentum start building, right?
Sure. Definitely.
Like we talked about,
glad to
give it time.
Go ahead.
Awesome.
I'm sorry.
Awesome. Oh, no, that's okay. So, so for everybody who has been on this Blab broadcast with Nirmiti and I, Thanks so much for being here. This Blab is being recorded, and it's going to be posted on my Blab channel and my YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it again, we're happy to get your comments or feedback too, insights, you know, the top things you learned from today's session that you enjoyed the most. We'd love to hear about it, of course. And Nirmiti, thank you so much for being my guest here. You were fantastic. And I know that our audience got a lot of great information and insights and just encouragement from you to help them, you know, reinvent themselves and really know that they can achieve, you know, they can achieve their goals. They can have the careers that they want. They can have careers that rock, right? That's what we want for everybody here.
Sure. Thanks so much, Vicki, for having me. And I hope that, you know, my insights, people can benefit from them. I could not have done it without support and insights from others. So I definitely want to pay it forward and hope that people can learn, you know, from any insights that I had to share and just make progress. You know, if I could do it, I'm sure any of y'all who set your mind to it can do it. So
yep. Awesome. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you, Nirmiti, for being my very special guest today on Careers Reinvented. This is Vicki Aubin, the Rockin Career Coach. And if you like this today and you want to see more Blabs like this, go ahead and follow me here on the Blab platform. Otherwise, you can find me over at Facebook or at the rockincareercoach.com. So again, thank you, Nirmiti. Thank you, everybody, for being on the Blab today. And I'll see you all real soon. Bye, everybody. I'm just going to... We're going to close the Blab now. If I can get the Blab closed, we're going to be all good here. So we are closing the Blab. Let me get the Blab screen back up. Okay, and here we go.